In the DME flyer, there was a mention in there about the grant for this RTMP money, and that there was a specific deadline as to when you had to have your application in for events that you wanted to state during the year. Louis and I had this conversation the other day as to, one is, do we really need to have a deadline for this money? Because it seems to me that some people may be putting events on later in the year and maybe don't have the plan for the event yet. He said this was something that has been a prototype that we've always stayed to or stayed true to for many years. And so my question, I guess, is to the council. Do we really need to put a deadline on this money? I don't know. I'm asking the question. Is it something that maybe we could kick out till the end of April, till the 1st of May, till the end of the fiscal year, June 30th? It seems to me by demanding, well, no exceptions, no rules, you know, that seems a little restrictive to what the money is to go to in the first place.
Some of the projects that are requested, and I'm sympathetic for what you're saying personally, I don't know what the rest of the folks think, but some people have their plans already made. Some people have their events in September. So what you're saying is, it's not going to get moldy if we just leave it in there. That's what you mean. And the problem is, as people put their requests in, if you drag them out through the year, you're constantly making looking at the request, and how do you compare that with other people, and at what point do the people that put the request in first or last, the ones that put them in last, might not get the money. Well, and that's their money there to get. That's
their issue. I mean, that's their problem, I think. But to put a definite no exceptions to the rule, I think to me is being too opposite.
We're not talking about the money
this is the RTMP money that people will supply, put in a request for funds on a form or application.
But not to the chambers.
Not the TRT money.
This is for like the sugar plum.
Right. Tree planting.
Tree planting.
It's the money specific to overnight stay.
Yeah, we handle it best.
We've just taken in the request about April and made a decision of the council for the Chamber of Commerce in the past has made a decision on all of them and then recommended their decision. Didn't make a decision, they made recommendations to the council because the council has to make the final approval.
Well, is this, I mean, the previous meeting we were talking about where you get 10,000 to the chamber and then there's like 8 or 9,000 left over. This 8 or 9,000 left over, is this part of that money?
No, this is the other fund.
No. That's the RTMP and the TRT.
There is one consideration. In the email that I sent you about RTMP funds, there is a form that has to go back in showing how we spend them and where it goes. And that form, I believe, is due by the end of the fiscal year for the county, which is June 30th. I think that's when it's due, that we have to have that report showing where we spent that money. And if we don't give them that report, we don't get more money.
Well, then that makes sense. But to just, that's why I was asking the
question.
Yes,
yeah, and I told you, I wasn't sure.
And so we were asking this question, why are we being so arbitrary about this? Why don't we just say, hey,
it probably should be advertised like in January, or we can start again as soon as we know when we have the money next fiscal year, then get that word out, which would give a longer period of time.
Okay.
Well, I've heard comments that it was a short notice, but I think it is good to have a deadline so then you can just distribute the money, so it's not like we'll give 2,000 out or because we might have more applicants for the earlier events, but. I did hear comments just around community that was a short notice, but next year they'd know.
I think that I'm not 100% positive I understand this fully, but I think that when you guys are agreeing to the ones that are applied for right now, I think that they're for the fiscal year that starts July 1st through next year, and that throughout the year, as the people who have applied have their events, they get receipts for things that they spend it on and they turn it in and get reimbursed.
That's right.
And so I think it sounds like what Jim's worried about is that people might not know now if they're having something in September but the people that have, so if they don't know now and they have something in September, they could apply next year to get reimbursed for the upcoming ones. It's kind of always, because of the fiscal year cycle, there's kind of a weird system.
Well, they still have to request it this fiscal year. Okay?
Right,
And
if they want to get it
if
for
they
next
wanna do
fiscal
it-
year.
Right, that's correct.
They might get it next fiscal year, but it's not this year.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Well, I just became confused when she said that, because if we haven't turned it in by June 30th for the past year, I assume.
For what we spent
And
the
they
money.
have to turn in receipts for what they spent this past summer or this past winter, so they can get reimbursed. Isn't that working a year behind instead of a year ahead?
Actually, the money's good till June 30th, 2014. But we have to have it obligated by June 30th, 2013. It's got, they got a year to spend it. But they usually don't, because normally it's a year to year, usually September, October, but the last projects that anybody is doing is usually as the bike race goes up over after Heidi and stuff like that. But you're getting toward the end of the season. There are a few things in September, not much after September.
It just seemed to me that there was a really quick ad and response time, that you had like 2 weeks to be able to get your event in, and it just seemed like a really short notice to me.
I think this has been an unusual year because of the chamber issues, and normally this is taken care of in January. It's advertised January, February, and they've got until about April to put their requests in. Gary?
Yes, I think it was a very short notice. I think there's a real advantage to having a deadline, whenever that deadline is. I'm not saying 2 weeks is enough time, but that gives you an opportunity to evaluate everyone at the same time. And people who are doing events in October or November, believe me, they know now what their event is going to be in October. Yes, Eugene, he's doing the Fat Tire. When we did the Mushroom Festival, we start planning in January, February for an event in September, October. We're planning now for an event in August. But having a deadline, which is the way the county did it when they handled the grants, gives you, the evaluators, an opportunity to evaluate everybody all at once, then the door is closed. And then people know, they become trained, they get in the habit of applying for their grant by the deadline. Now, I'm not saying 2 weeks is enough time, it's not. But however you want to deal with that, I don't know. But by having a deadline, then you can close the door, do your evaluation, make your distribution, and then next year is another year.
What happened last year, what happens every year is you get, say, $10,000 in money to distribute and $14,000 to $15,000 worth of requests. And that's where the hair gets in the butter a little bit, because then people have to figure out how to, and that's one of the reasons the chamber said, you know, we'd really rather not do this because it puts a target on their back. Well, the council's already got a target on their back, so why not? and that's why I will be appointing, with the concurrence of the council, the committee within the next week or two, for the evaluation of these projects. The TRT, RTMP Advisory Committee is what the name of it will be. It'll be five or seven people, actually.
Every single grant application process that I've ever seen or been part of has had a deadline. So,
Well, I wasn't specifically making a point of the deadline. I just thought
I
it
think
was
the
really
deadline was
quick.
kind of short.
Yeah.
What? Oh, Lynn, sorry. So glad I forgot you were here.
One of the other things the county does is that you can apply on their grant card or whatever, you can apply, they have a maximum limit you can apply for, and any following years after you can only apply for half of that. So I think originally one time the track club applied for $10,000. The following year we could only apply for 5, and after that you could only apply for like 2,500.
And that program is no more.
No more. That was a parks program, right?
Okay.
But we could still have the same restrictions. I mean,
Sure.
I mean, it's some type of restriction where you can only get so much 1 year and then the following year you can say.
Somebody down here have something to say?
I forgot.
Don't forget, I don't have eyes for that.
Historically, the last several years, it's been the same groups that have applied anyway. So these groups already know that they need to have their eggs all in the basket, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Unless it's a new event.
Like I said, I didn't know that we had to have, that there was a deadline as far as the county goes. Plus the fact, like I said, it seemed like a really short period of time.
It was, because like I said, this was not our normal year.
Right. So,
Because of the chamber things.
And we, if the council felt that we need to extend it for a couple weeks or to the middle of April or something like that, nothing says you can't.
No, particularly if it's causing heartburn for people and they haven't got their project ready, that they had planned to have a project ready.
And we still need a deadline.
I guess the question in my mind, for along with Tim says, is what's the typical length of time that we have for this?
Well, again, that was the template that we had, and it did it show 2 weeks? Was it 2 weeks that was on there? So we went off of that template. Nothing says that it can't be extended to like the middle of April to give. But of course, there's got to be a deadline. But nothing says that we can extend it till April. That's up to that'd be up to the council.
Any comment on that?
I don't have a problem extending it.
If we extend it, then I'd like to hear a motion.
Let's hear from Dawn first.
Don?
I just wanted to point out that it was last year at budget time when we found out how much money we would have to be distributing right now and for the TRT money. And so it might be a good idea to like set up something on the website that said every year in January you can fill out this application and you have until this day and blah blah blah.
That's a good point.
And then there would be no trouble.
Right. We know how much we got right now, actually.
Yeah, and it's pretty steady. The RTMP is usually between 12 and 13, and the TRT is usually between 16 and 20.
Yeah.
So today was the deadline, right?
Tomorrow.
No, tomorrow.
5 o'clock.
Why don't we extend it 2 weeks? I would make a proposal.
Want to put a date on it?
Motion.
Is that a motion you're making?
Yes, I would make a motion that we extend the deadline on the RTMP funding for people requesting funding to April the 5th at 5 p.m.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Then moved by Councilor Coy, seconded by Councilor Forson to extend the period of time for request for project funding until April the 5th. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Councilor Baszler?
Aye.
Councilor Biggerstaff?
Aye.
Councilor Clark?
Aye.
Councilor Coe?
Aye.
Councilor Fortune?
Aye.
Mayor Shorey?
Aye. Carries. Alrighty, moving right along, community services, alcohol permit for Green Waters Park for Corner Bar and Grill.
Council, you have the staff report in front of you. With the previous owner, we never had any issues out at the amphitheater during tree planting when this was done in the past. So I'm hoping that Mr. Maxwell will continue the same trend. And as you see in the staff report, I am recommending that you do approve an alcohol permit for them during tree planting.
They've always stated their security and all that.
Right, and as you see on the second page, that'll be one of the things that I have to confirm that they're going to add before it moves forward.
The only thing I have any trouble with is, what's the event? Other than tree planting festival, is it just beer garden or they?
Right, they're going to do a beer garden.
So that's all they're going to do in the
Right.
park is have a beer garden.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be other things there.
Doesn't say what it's going to be.
Oh,
It says tree.
oh, is it a different? document? Make sure.
No, but I thought that's what
Mostly for motorists going through town.
Last year I guess the reason I asked is last year they didn't use the park.
Oh,
They
actually,
used the street beside the bar.
Yeah.
I stand corrected that I. Let's look here.
And they closed off those
They really didn't say it, so it was very hard to pick out.
Okay, well, Jackie just informed me that they are requesting the same spot as last
Okay,
year.
so that's Oak Street,
Oak Street.
next to the bar.
Yes.
Yeah, that worked last year for a while.
Shouldn't they state that in their permit?
Yes, he should have. Yes. If I can make that addition, if that's okay with council.
They're asking for a permit.
So you have something that verifies that request somewhere?
Just verbally that she was told by him that he wanted to do it next to the lot. So I was confused.
These are supposed to be put in, what, 45 days in advance or something? This is for street use, not for the park use, okay.
And this is till 10 p.m.?
That's what it said.
Yeah, till quiet time. So basically, he's got I think he had, a table or two out, and it's a pretty quick breakdown. So, and quiet hour is 10. If you all want to say 9:30, you can say 9:30 so that he is broken down by 10.
I think we did that with K and Cass. I think it should be the same.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so 9:30 p.m. Right. And we'll let him.
Well, I guess I'm a little confused because this really isn't a request for what he wants.
No, that's on my part. That's bad on me.
Can we get something that will
Yeah.
request what he wants?
Sure, as long as we don't hold the date against him, so the 45-day limit, so then we'll just carry it forward.
Administrative area.
Who filled this out, you or him?
He filled this thing, I filled out the staff report, so. So for the April the 4th meeting, I will bring this back for April 4th with further clarification.
Okay, thank you very much, I appreciate that.
So I get it clarified.
All right, moving right along. Police services.
Council, Mayor. Here's our quarterly staff report. The last council meeting I was at, we presented one of these for the asking about how come our misdemeanors are down. Well, they're back up again. So we're still staying active. We're actively working. Troy Allen, our code enforcement officer, diligently working. We're going after these homes in town that have been burned out and destroyed and are dangerous buildings. Made a lot of progress today on the house on 1st Street over here. We'll be working with Bank of America and their management company. Looks like they have an interest to come in and take that house down. So had we not made those contacts, I don't think Bank of America would have forward on it. They were just, it sounded like they're kind of waiting for us to take action. So in total, we have 5 properties that we're going after as dangerous buildings in the community. And Troy's doing a heck of a good job working on these, and you'll see progress.
Those be, one of those be the Thatcher Lane house?
Yes.
Because that's been a long time, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, we're working with Chuck. This one of the problems with some of the older homes in this town is the asbestos issues. And so Chuck is helping to assist and identify somebody who can do possibly all of them at one time and save some money in the process. So we'll keep working on it. And we're also notifying a lot of people that with regards to junk that they've got on the properties of the amnesty day, and the opportunity to avoid receiving a citation. And I think we'll see a lot more compliance this year.
Good. That's a good approach, actually. You pick it up if you stack it out by the curb. Okay.
Well, you said miscellaneous, or, misdemeanors are up. However, if you compare it to last year, you're still down by 45%.
So they're moving up for us, going into the spring. They're doing a good job.
Your Honor, also, one of the things is that occurs on a regular basis is people who walk their dogs. Okay, now this sounds petty, but people walk their dogs, let them poop wherever they want to poop, and they don't pick it up. Okay, it's a violation of city ordinance not to. Okay, not to pick it up. It starts with a $50 ticket and it goes up. The Troy and the officers will be carrying rolls of poopy bags with them. So they happen to see you walking your dog, they may stop and ask you if you got poopy bags. If you don't, they'll hand you one. And so then from then on, if they talk to you and you don't have one, you'll probably end up paying the $50. So, because I do get tired of stepping on that
too.
So, Troy?
And there's always really big dog that does it right in front of my office, you know?
I'm going to start walking my dog up there.
Your dog
And
takes
also,
fork with you to pick it up.
if we give you a bag and you don't pick up the poop, we'll cite you right there.
They don't do it at my house anymore.
Good. That's what we want. Don?
I put a chemical out there.
I have a question about that. I have been living right next to Dairy Queen. Tourists come, park their motorhome, walk their dog into my yard to take a dump, and so they can go eat lunch and leave the dog in the car while they're in there. I've caught people several times. Can I give them a citation, or?
Call us.
This call, yes, so the answer is yes, you could sign and they could issue a cite if they're not willing to pick it up. Yes.
Get your cell phone out, take a picture like everybody.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
I need to do that.
Anyway, I guess we move on.
All right, 9.0 emergency, or there is no emergency. Oh, yes, you're going to do that.
Well, I thought you were going to do the report. Right?
Pass the buck.
As of this afternoon, you said you were, but I'll do it.
Well,
Why don't we both do it?
The thing is, I didn't bring my notes.
Oh. All right, well, there's been quite a few things going on in emergency services. The former chief left is ensconced over in Warrington now. He'll be back on the 27th and 28th of April to teach some classes. We are now holding officers meeting every Monday since he's been gone, to fill in the blanks, fill in the holes a little bit. It's moving right along. We just got our rescue that's been dead in the water for about a year and a half back yesterday. We recently had a fire down here on 1st Street that was in our former fire chiefs. One of the former fire chiefs, about 3 fire chiefs, garage, burned up his boat and 2 motorcycles and quite a bit of stuff, so we're still trying to help him out. And it turns out it may have been a drill battery, possibly, that they're checking into that started it. The new ambulance is in service and has been working diligently, taking about 2 to 4 calls a day. The interim fire chief is Tim Whitaker, who's a captain, a training captain. And then and when he's gone, like now, he's down diving in Catalina, so people get all over. Scott Hollett is currently the interim chief until he gets back, and he's the other captain. And we're rearranging some of the duties of the officers there so that they've got a lot more expanded responsibility. We've initiated or they have initiated, I should say, a duty officer position that we have been trying to get in for a couple of years, so that we have a person who's dedicated for car crashes and fires and that sort of thing. They can respond immediately, decide to take over the scene and be in charge until they're relieved or not by a higher ranking officer. And that's that's it. So if you see a white truck or a red truck parked in front of somebody's house, don't get all panic stricken. That's the duty officer who's got that, and it cuts back on time if we have to bail out of there. Because fires don't take very long. This fire down the street here took not very long, 10 minutes. That was pretty well done, like 10 minutes. We did stop it without it getting in the house, but that's about it. That's about it. Unless you had something else.
I'm good, you.
Alrighty, old business.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So have we advertised for a new fire chief yet?
Not yet.
I have not.
No, but we hope to do it soon. That's another thing that the staff at the fire department is working on what they would like to see in a fire chief. So we'll probably do the same similar process that we've done on previous hires with the board.
So in the meantime, is our overtime gonna go sky high
No.
by being down one person?
Probably not, because the person that is the interim chief will be, during his duty days, will be most of when he's there. And the rest of the time, the volunteer officers will be filling in. So we don't charge you for that.
No, you still have your four EMS personnel working, so no, so it's gonna be their normal overtime that they always get anyway. So there should not be, there may be a little extra if I need him to attend something, but not much, no. It's not gonna be anything crazy.
And the volunteer officers basically are now taking on the greater responsibility than they have in the past, so higher expectations for them. They'll be, like tonight, Leo Rob was a duty officer, for example. That's a 24-hour shift. You want to leave in the morning, get up and eat. Some of the guys are taking all weekend, but it should speed up our response times as far as size up and that sort of thing goes.
Question. So, as an acting fire chief, is he operating under union contract or under a staff contract?
Not under a contract, it's just you just give them a pay bump per their union contract, 5% increase.
It's called acting in capacity.
Yeah, acting in capacity.
Acting in capacity.
So
if it becomes an issue, it won't be an issue, because we'll get a different fire.
Exactly. He understands that he is there to run a department. If we get into labor issues or something like that, he would probably not be included. I would handle it myself. If there's a grievance or a labor issue, he would not be in the path to deal with any of those. So because he is a union member, he couldn't be in the middle of that. I'd have to move to the side, and it would the grievance would just come straight to me instead of him. So, no, we've got that worked out.
Any other questions? All righty, old business. TRT discussion. I'm not sure what that was supposed to mean.
Well, you have it in your packet.
It's this agreement here.
Yes, it's the draft. It's the draft marketing agreement, okay, that I gave you all. This is basically what I did is I plagiarized Florence's, okay, and
No, it's not that one anyway. It's the one you handed out. It's a loose one.
no, it's the one in your packet.
It is the one in the packet, yeah.
Yes, we are doing the one in the packet first.
You're hard to keep up with.
One for this year and then one for next year.
No, one is a
Great. This is the one. The one in the packet is for the one in the future, and then I was gonna bounce back to the one for this year in a few minutes.
All right.
So it's the one in the packet.
Is that the 12-13 one you're talking about?
No, the one that says draft on it.